Okay. Well, let me answer some of these other questions and then we'll move on. So the next question is page 193. It covers unique index, primary key. Can you give an example when you would use unique index, primary key, and a foreign key? Unique index is usually used for real world data that is not the primary key. So an example in a table of people might be the social security number. You'd make that a unique key because social security numbers should be unique. Um, the primary key is the number that's generated automatically by the database. That is the value, the internal number that the database uses to uniquely identify a row in a table. A unique key is a value that, in addition to that, a real world value in addition to that, that you would like to use. You would like to use, not the database. And so Social Security number is a real world value. It should be unique. It's something you probably want to use. So you make it a unique key. The primary key, the database does that. It's not a real world value. It's a sequential number the database generates. Then the last part is the foreign key. Foreign key is a primary key of one table stored in another table. And I know we have some examples of where we're doing joins on some of the different country tables, maybe country to country language, for example. Josie, did you start MySQL from the XAMPP control panel? Make sure you do that. Okay, so for example, I think there's if we look at we see that there's a okay. If we look in there, we see the country code is in there. So we would say that country to country language is a one to many relationship, right? So you'll see that the countries code, which is this code up here, is the primary key in the country table, and it's stored as a foreign key in the country language. Now, their design is not that great because they're using the combination of country code and language as a primary key here. But essentially, so this is a foreign key country code, which refers back to the country table. Foreign key is generally stored in the child table in a one-to-many relationship. And the child table is the table that has the many part of the relationship to refer back to the parent. Okay? You understand primary key and foreign key. Trying to put them together in an example might make it clear. So here's the country language. So, for example, if I wanted to see all the languages for the United States, I could say select, let's say, local name and language, and we would say from country join country language on country code equals code where code equals USA. Let's see if that works. So there, you've got a join. So country is the child table going to the parent table because it's just one country, the United States, but these are all the languages that are commonly spoken in the United States, right? So, and most countries have multiple languages, so this would be a one-to-many relationship. Country to language is a one-to-many relationship. don't know. Oh, these are questions that came in from other people. Does that answer your question? 3, where would we use multiple unique keys? You may decide that you have multiple unique keys. Like Social Security number is one potential unique key, but another possible unique key may be someone's cell number. Maybe you want to use their cell number. Probably a cell telephone number belongs to only one person. Another place where you might have multiple primary keys these days are username. A lot of times it's your email address. You can only have one user by that username in your user table. So your user table, you may have their social security number, you may have their username, which should be unique. You may have their cell phone number in there, which you should decide should be a unique key. So there's many potential unique keys in there. And are the tables in Lab 1 enough to do Lab 3? Let me look at that in a moment. What's the practical difference between replace into and insert into? I covered that a little bit earlier, but again, replace into is not ANSI standard. For example, it's only in MySQL. Insert into is. Replace into essentially will act like an update statement if the row already exists. Otherwise, it will act like an insert statement. So that's kind of the primary difference. I don't know if that answers your question or not. So let's look. Lab 1 is the world table. Lab 3, does that take everything? Yes. The answer is yes. The tables in Lab 1 should be all you need for Lab 3. Okay? Let's see. Are there any other questions? Lab homeworks that you turned in. Is there a specific question you have on those? I know I have not graded all of them yet. I've graded some of them, but not all of them. I will get caught up this week, I promise. Found it hard to do normalization. Let's see, which lab? That wouldn't have been Lab 1. That probably would have been Lab 2, right? It wasn't a specific norm. Oh, were you trying to normalize the tables for the school database? Courses available. Okay. What sort of questions?